Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga News package for this evening. Making headlines, His Majesty invited to officiate at an event overseas. British High Commissioner praises the collaboration with the Tonga Broadcasting Commission, and Tongan soldiers taking part in Afghanistan peacekeeping mission presented with honorary medals. These and more stories are later on in this bulletin, together with the latest from around the region, sports and the weather forecast. I'm Fatai Whaingaa with your news for tonight. His Majesty King Debelle VI is in Auckland, New Zealand, while Her Majesty Queen Anas Pao'u remains in the kingdom. According to information from the Palace Office, he was invited by the Tonga Defence Services to officiate at an occasion abroad. He will also be the guest of honour at the University of the South Pacific's graduation ceremony at Alafua campus in Samoa. Lord Chamberlain Viala Tabo, amongst two others, are accompanying His Majesty on his official trip. The British government welcomes the political and economic reforms that have been implemented in Tonga over the years. The British High Commissioner to Tonga, who's based in Suva, Fiji, His Excellency Roderick Drummond, made the comment in an interview with Radio and Television Tonga News yesterday. Galalaine Tonglava reports.
The British High Commissioner, His Excellency Roderick Drummond, says the British government has secured a bilateral program fund which funds a range of projects across the region, Tonga included, on issues such as climate change, human rights, good governance and democracy building. He adds that the current project they have funded with the Tonga Broadcasting Commission has enabled parliamentary sessions to be broadcast on Radio Tonga, helping listeners to understand the issues being debated in the House.
To help with the live broadcast of debates in Parliament, and I've been really impressed with what I've heard this week about how that's working, how that's contributing to the development of democracy in Tonga, with your new, quite new, 3 years old parliamentary system here. I'm glad it's making a contribution, and I think the members of Parliament in Britain would be jealous if they heard how popular this programme is here in terms of how many people listen to it. Of course, I'm sure not everyone agrees with what they hear, but the fact that they're listening is a really good thing for democracy.
After the exclusive interview with the British High Commissioner, he also held a meeting with the General Manager of the Tonga Broadcasting Commission, Nancy Fifita. After the meeting, a gift was also presented to the British High Commissioner to show Tonga Broadcasting Commission's appreciation to the good office of the British High Commission. Mr. Drummond is in Nuku'alofa on an official visit.
Women in Parliament are calling on regional parliaments to set aside an allocated number of seats for women in the House or vote for them during the election. This was raised during a Dute regional gatherings for parliamentarians in the region and today in Nuku'alofa. Although Tonga's laws have yet to enforce putting aside a special quota for women, it's still an important issue to be addressed for future implementation. This is according to the Chief Clerk of the House, Gloria Poleo. She says the issue was raised to build gender equality in Tonga and the region. During a regional parliamentary meeting, some of the parliamentarians did not agree with the issue to support a special quota in Parliament for women. Despite others supported the idea, saying that women should win a seat by merit, such as in Samoa. The idea was supported by the New Zealand's representative to the regional meeting for Pacific parliamentarians in Nuku'alofa, Asenati Loletela.
Governments need to advocate for more representation of women in Parliament, but it must be in a way where the women can get into Parliament on merits. They should not be getting into Parliament through tokenism, kind of a structure. And I think it's unfair to the women that if they were to be expected to get into Parliament through a quota, they won't get the respect or the recognition they deserve from the people that they represent. But the other side of that is that men should also be asked to advocate in support of allowing more women into Parliament. Because what's happening is that they believe that the women will get into Parliament if women vote for them. It shouldn't be that way. If women are able to vote for men, then men should also be able to vote for women, provided that the woman has got the ability, the capacity and the capability to be a parliamentarian.
A woman parliamentarian from the autonomous region of Bougainville, Elizabeth Perrine, says that women should be given more opportunities to secure a seat in parliament.
Pacific countries will really need to help the women, but first of all, the women themselves will really need to come out, because by attending other meetings like the CPA meeting in South Africa, we have very, very powerful and bold women from Africa. And I believe Pacific countries can also, especially women, can come out and be bold, because going back to the creation, you will find that the woman has a bigger heart, which means that if we talk about women having bigger hearts, I believe the commitment they have is much bigger than the community expects from them.
Other issues raised in the gathering includes the importance of promoting more technologised equipment in Tonga's parliament to help cut costs and promote a more efficient parliament to coincide with the theme Modern Parliaments for the region. They also discussed the importance of reaching out voice of vulnerable people in the community and others. The British High Commissioner to Tonga, His Excellency Mr. Roderick Drummond, has said claims that Tongan soldiers slept or were on duty in Afghanistan was untrue. Mr. Drummond made the special confirmation in a special interview with Radio and Television Tonganese during his current official visit to the kingdom. Kalolaini Tonglawa again with more on its story.
During the past few months, speculations were made that Tongan soldiers slept when the Taliban fighters attacked Camp Pashtun in September of last year. But according to the British High Commissioner, Mr. Drummond, that was not the case.
Well, that's, as I understand, that's not true, that central allocation. I know there's been a lot of speculation about it. It came out of a US inquiry, US military inquiry into the events surrounding an attack on the base where the Tongan soldiers were based. But I don't want to go into the detail of the report. It's a US military report.
Mr. Drummond also clarified that it was the British soldiers but not the Tongan soldiers who were supposed to guard the area.
The British forces were responsible for security on that part of the base, and we've undertaken our own inquiries and concluded those with no further repercussions or issues. So I wouldn't be distracted by media speculation internationally or in the US about this the American report. The American procedures are different. There was some sanction taken against 2 of their senior officers and so on. And inevitably there's a bit of, there are some accusations flying backwards and forwards. I wouldn't be distracted by that. The accusations are not true.
The British High Commissioner to Tonga, Roderick Drummond. For Television Tonga News, I'm Kalolaini Tonglawa.
The upgrade system of Tonga Communication Corporation is underway after approval of 17 million paanga loan from Westpac Bank of Tonga. Such loan will upgrade the system for mobile phone, landline and internet services. This is according to information from TCC. Kalisito Nuku reports.
It comes after the Minister of Public Enterprises, Honourable Fe'awakata, reveals the support from the Cabinet Economic Development Committee to the loan. The support from the CEDC came after not approving nor accepting 4 recommendations submitted by the Ministry of Public Enterprises regard to DCC. The recommendation put forward includes to sell out 100% of DCC, to sell out 49% of the company's shareholder while government maintains 51%. The second proposal was for government to maintain 50% shareholder of the company and tender 50% to an interested shareholder. The final option was to never privatize TCC. The support from CEDC is a big challenge that needed more work and improvement in the service that the DCC provided, according to the information. DCC faced a profit in 2011-2012 of more than 1 million per anga, and in 2012 and 2013 was increased to 2 million per anga. In 2008 until 2010, DCC faced a deficit of more than 100,000 per anga, was a reason for the reviewing of DCC by ADB. DCC is one of the 16 businesses owned by government.
Tongan soldiers from the Tonga Defence Services have been presented with the British Operations Service medals this morning at Taliai Camp in Whamoto. These soldiers were from a Tongan peacekeeping contingent serving in Afghanistan under the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. They were presented with the medals at the Taliai Camp. Sinlato was there and filed this report.
These are soldiers who took part on one of the world's biggest peacekeeping missions in the Middle East. The British High Commissioner presented them with their medals. The more than 30 soldiers are from Tonga's 5th contingent to Afghanistan. They include the TDS 2nd in command, Captain Tony Fonokalafi, who led Tonga's 5th contingent to Afghanistan, along with other soldiers from previous contingents. The British High Commissioner says that Tonga's contingents are recognized worldwide.
The contribution in Afghanistan has been valued at the highest levels in the UK Armed Forces and government. And this deployment has meant that Tonga is now really recognised around the world and has a seat at the NATO military table. The Commander of Joint Operations in the United Kingdom, Lieutenant General Capewell, hopes to have the opportunity to visit and to personally thank His Majesty's Armed Forces in person in Tonga. The United Kingdom will continue to provide, with partners, training to the HMAF and will continue to exercise together.
The commander of Tonga's military service, Brigadier General Tau Aikau Ta'atu, welcomed the British High Commissioner and other guests to the camp.
The support was felt during the pre-deployment training at the Permanent Joint Operation Headquarters in Huntington, London, during the deployment and during the deployment to Camp Bastion. Without their support, His Majesty's Armed Forces contingents would not be able to be as well prepared to carry out their mission in Afghanistan. It is our hope that this support would be maintained in 2014 to our 7th contingent, which is currently deploying in Camp Bastion.
He also called for ongoing support from the UK government for Tonga soldiers. The medals were presented by His Excellency Roderick Drummond, British High Commissioner to Tonga, to the Tongan soldiers who took part in the peacekeeping mission to Afghanistan. These medals are only awarded to soldiers who have been part of this mission for over 28 days, with the inclusion to His Majesty's approval, Queen Elizabeth II. Brigadier General Ta'atu says that these soldiers were presented with a different medal in Camp Bastion in Afghanistan. Tonga's 6th contingent will complete its peacekeeping mission in Afghanistan on the 12th of this month.
The Ministry of Police has filled some of its vacant posts in various divisions. However, this does not include posts which have been vacated by police officers who were temporarily suspended from the ministry in the past months. This was clarified to Radio and Television Tonga News this morning by the Deputy Police Commissioner, Lau Aitu Tuponiwa. Anasi Falekano tells you more.
The clarification was made as some police officers have been promoted to more senior roles. The Deputy Police Commissioner Lau Aitu Tuponiwa did not reveal how many of the police officers have been promoted.
There is a change.
There is a minor change in the Tonga police officers' uniform, as it is to show the changes within the Ministry of Police. Some of the police officers were suspended earlier and their posts have not been replaced. Assistant Police Commissioner emphasized that the changes needed to be done because of the renewal of the Tonga Police Strategic Plan and the importance of maintaining the public's trust in the ministry. The 2009-2010 review stated that the General Department is needed to ensure that the positions are filled and actions needed to be done. We also had to draw up a strategic plan for the officers to follow. Also, it is vital to protect our image for the public. Meantime, she added that in order to maintain their reputation, they are joining the Hospital Week program, the marathon race, tomorrow. For Television Tonga News, I'm Manasi Falekaono.
The number of communicable diseases recorded in Tonga shows a huge drop over the past 30 years. The Chief Medical Officer from Viola Hospital, Dr. Malakai Ake, says from the 1940s to the 1960s, communicable diseases was a major cause of death in the kingdom. Linda Filiai reports.
Speaking to Television Tonga News, the Chief Medical Officer of Viola Hospital, Dr. Malakai Ake, says it's rare in the past few years for causes of death are from communicable diseases. Such diseases include typhoid amongst other diseases. This is due to the improvement of medical treatment and effective immunization injection compared to the previous years. Diseases such as tuberculosis dropped from 40 cases a year to only 9 cases recorded this year. Furthermore, only 1 case of typhoid was recorded this year. No cases of dengue fever have been reported to Viola Hospital this year, although neighboring Pacific countries like New Caledonia and Tahiti have reported such cases. Dr. Ake says the drop in the number of communicable diseases is due to the effective immunization injection program for infant and dedicated work of the Ministry of Health. The last fatal dengue case reported in Tonga was in 2004. In the past 50 years, non-communicable diseases are very rare, which includes diabetes, high blood pressure, amongst other diseases. Majority of the people died in the past from communicable diseases like tuberculosis and dengue. Since immunization injection was first introduced, it has seen as a great solution with the tribe to combat against these diseases. It has been proven as an effective tool. The major concerns from the staff at the Ministry of Health is the rapid rise on non-communicable diseases, which has been proven as the cause of more than 60% of death in Tonga each year.
And that's from the local news. The latest from around the region is next after this break.